Hey everyone, Speed Duel, bro. Finally back at it. I apologize for my disappearance, but long story short, let's just say those erratas changed up all the decks I've ever created. So I've been in the lab playtesting and creating. So here I am, ready to present with new content. Okay, so I call this deck profile Creepy Crawlers because it's heavily based on insects. For the skill card, we're going to be using Hidden Parasite. And then for monster lineup, we've got 2 Swarm of Scarabs, 3 Swarm of Locusts, and 3 Old Vindictive Magicians. As for spells, we've got 2 Eradicating Aerosols, 3 Book of Moons, and 3 Allure of Darkness. And to round off the traps, we've got 3 Wabakus, and 1 Zero Gravity. Okay everyone, let's go over how to win with the deck / strategies. Now believe it or not, you want to go first with this deck because of these 2 specifically, Swarm of Scarabs and Swarm of Locusts. And the reason being is because of their effects. Once per turn, you can change this card to face down defense position. If this card is flip summoned, target 1 spell / trap your opponent controls, destroy that target. Now Swarm of Scarabs is the same thing except it targets monsters. Okay? So yeah, that's why you want to set up shop immediately so that you can put it face down. But for opening hand wise, you want to see any combination of these cards in your opening hand. Book of Moon, Allure, Old Vindictive, and Zero Gravity. So basically guys, the strategy is very simple. You set up shop with either any one of your monsters, and then hopefully you have a back row to protect them, and then come your turn, you can just flip summon, and then attack and poke their life points. Very simple if you ask me. Very simple. And then with Book of Moon, you can keep reusing flip effects or maybe put the opponent's monsters face down just to protect your monster even more. Again, very self-explanatory. Now, one of the combos that I like to do with this deck, guys, is this right here. So let's say we're facing an opponent's monster that's much stronger than ours. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to use the Swarm's effects to be put face down, defense position. And then we're going to activate our skill card, Hidden Parasite, along with the spell card, Eradicating Aerosol. So that will wipe out their board completely, and then we can flip summon and get their effects off, and then we can poke. So that's one of the wombo combos. Okay everyone, time to go over card choices and card analysis. So I chose the skill card Hidden Parasite simply because it allows us to use Eradicating Aerosol, which will help us wipe the opponent's board clean, which means our insects can swarm the field more openly. But anyways, onto the monster lineup. We chose Swarm of Scarabs because it's a dark, and so that means it goes well with Allure of Darkness, helps speed up the deck some more. And here's what it says: once per turn, you can change this card to face down defense position. If this card is flip summoned, target 1 monster your opponent controls, destroy that target. Granted, the stats are nothing to write home about, but that's what insects do. They poke, they poke at the opponent until the opponent can't take anymore. So on to the next monster, Swarm of Locusts. The same thing basically as Swarm of Scarabs, except it targets back row, spell and trap cards. Now, here's this one, Old Vindictive Magician. It's a dark. Yes, I wanted to play Man-Eater Bug at first just to stay true to the insect theme, but I just couldn't pass up the opportunity to use Allure of Darkness with it, so there's more synergy within the deck. And if you read closely, the text on Man-Eater Bug says, target 1 monster on the field. So what happens if the only monster I have is Man-Eater Bug and your opponent has none? Then I have to destroy my own monster, which is no good. But at least with Old Vindictive Magician, target 1 monster your opponent controls. So meaning, even if my opponent has an empty field, I can poke with this guy. And then the reason why I felt like 2 Swarm of Scarabs was sufficient for this deck is because, again, of Old Vindictive Magician. Swarm of Scarabs is basically Old Vindictive Magician, but much slower, so we're just gonna run a more efficient monster within Old Vindictive Magician. Okay, onto the spells. Eradicating Aerosol, I explained that already. Book of Moon can be used for mostly to reuse our flip effect monsters, and mostly just to protect our monsters. And then on to Allure of Darkness. Again, as mentioned earlier, Allure of Darkness provides great synergy within the deck because all the monsters are dark. And then as for traps, we have Wabaku, obviously used for defensive purposes to help protect our Swarm of Scarabs and Swarm of Locusts, so that it will be guaranteed that they will survive for the next turn and we can reuse their flip summoning mechanic. And then we have Zero Gravity, just as a little more protection for our monsters. Okay? Now guys, the reason why, in my humble opinion, that this deck is casual is because of this. Because of these two right here. The reason I say that is because there's no main phase 2 in speed duels. So meaning, even if we were able to successfully use the flip summoning effect of these monsters and we attack the opponent, after the battle phase, it's immediately end phase. So meaning, if there was a main phase 2, we could have easily just set these guys back to defense, thus protecting our life points even more. But that's the thing, that's where Wabaku and Zero Gravity come into play, so that it will guarantee that even if our monsters get attacked, we'll be safe for next turn. Okay? So come our turn, we just do this. We use the effect to flip it face down, and then flip summon, and then poke until they have no more life points. Again, we only have 4,000 life points, so you should be able to fairly finish the opponent within a moderate amount of time, ideally. But again, this deck, in my humble opinion, is casual. So yeah, guys, that's the deck profile. I hope you enjoyed. I'm happy to be back. It's been so long. I missed you guys. I really did. And I'm just telling you, those new errata changes really rocked my world. That's why I was gone for so long, just play testing and creating in the lab. So yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because if you love speed duels, I'm sure you're gonna love me too. The speed duel, bro. Alrighty now, I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Peace. And never forget, guys, I always play to win.